other experiences you've had with
Well,
business or
my
otherwise?
father was certainly my idol. Back in the early 70s, he was awarded the Small Businessman of the Year award.
What business?
He had a coal mining repair and fabrication shop.
That's clever.
Back in the heydays
Useful. Everyone would need
coal
that.
mine, yeah. And in fact, I worked for one of the major manufacturers as a field engineer, installing and training people how to run the equipment throughout the coal countries of the United States.
Oh, okay.
At a young age.
And where'd you study? So most of your life was in West Frankfort, it sounds like, in Franklin County.
Most of my life was in West Frankfort. I went to SIU. Okay. I majored in pinochle. That didn't work out very well.
But you must be a pretty good player these days. I might have to challenge you. Maybe you can teach me a trick.
But I'm a big believer in street smarts, common sense, maybe a little above average common sense.
Give me some. Pour it on me. What are some lessons you've learned in life? Some lessons from your parents or your grandparents or anyone you've met along the way. Educate some young people like Jackson and Brian and I here.
Well, I've always believed in karma. Good karma, not the bad karma, but the good karma.
I agree.
I think it always pays back. You can't write a check on it, but it's there. If you try to do the right things all your life, I think the end result speaks for itself.
I think doing the right thing for the right reasons. I think whenever you find people who are truly motivated to do good for the sake of good, not looking for something in return, is so powerful.
It's being unselfish is what it's being. And never ever think you're better than anybody else, because you're not.
No, we're all the same.
We're all the same.
All started from the same same place. Tell me a little bit about your family. It sounds like your dad was very impactful in your life, and what other family or ancestors stand out in your mind as being impactful?
Of course, my mother's family all lived in Canada.
Okay.
So every year during miner's vacation, which at that time when I was a youth, my dad was a coal miner. And the last week of June and the first week of July was a traditional miner's vacation back then. And we went to Canada every year.
So I have to ask, because my dad's, one of his dreams, and I'm one of 6 boys.
Okay.
We've promised my dad that we're going to go on a fishing trip to Canada. We were supposed to go last year for his 70th, and my older brother Adam was adopting a young boy from the Philippines, so we had to postpone. We ended up going down to Heber Springs, Arkansas. I know it's nothing like some of these places in Canada. So what are some spots that you can think of that would be a good starting place for someone who's not well-versed in travels in Canada? Where should I go?
I can tell you where I think the best place to go is.
Tell me.
In fact, that's where my mother was born. It was Kenora, Ontario, which is about 100 miles east of Winnipeg. It sits on the northern point of Lake of the Woods. You've probably heard of the Lake of the Woods.
Yes, sir, I have. Well, I don't know why I've heard of Lake of the Woods.
Well, it extends from Canada all the way down into Minnesota.
Okay. So that's where the entry point would be, go north through Minnesota.
Yeah, the walleye fishing is great, smallmouth bass.
Walleye is not salmon. Walleye is a separate fish category altogether.
It is a separate category, in my opinion, the best tasting fish there is.
Well, you've got me excited. We could talk about this all day, but let's get into move me forward. Thank you for that advice. I will take you up on it, and I'd love if you can give me more advice on that in the future, and I'd love to learn some pinochle tricks. We're going to take a little break here. While we're off the air, we're going to talk a little bit about more on this, because now that we'll get back into the Heron Civic Center, but I want to, are you a fisherman?
Dexter's Yard Care can take all the pain and strain out of maintaining your residential or business lawn.
Come on.
Think about it. After buying and maintaining the equipment, then all the time and sweating, and of course the gas, it may be more affordable and a lot easier to hire Dexter's Yard Care, and they're 100% fully insured. So if he cuts his foot off in your lawn, you're not responsible for it. Dexter's Yard Care, where they really do care. Call for your free estimate today, 618-926-6645 or facebook.com/Dexter's Yard Care. This is an encore presentation. Please do not call. This is Lawler's Hometown Heroes. If you have any questions for today's guest, please call 618-993-8102. Once again, here's David Lawler.
Good morning, WGGH. Thank you for staying tuned. David Lawler here, Lawler's Hometown Heroes. With me this morning is Richard Melvin. He is the Executive Director of the Heron Civic Center. We've been talking about life, his experiences, a little bit about walleye up in Canada, and we're going to get into his story a little bit more and start talking about the Heron Civic Center and why it's such an important part of the Southern Illinois community and the other civic centers that are around that just continuously promote good things, getting people involved, community, stay connected.
Exactly.
Such an important thing. Why don't you tell me what you find to be most meaningful about the Heron Civic Center and civic centers in general? Why are you passionate about it? You've been doing this for a while, and you seem to be very excited about it, and you seem passionate whenever we talk. But tell me why you think it's so important,
Well,
Richard.
the civic centers are very much an asset to any community. First of all, the community's got to decide whether they want a civic center or not, because they're very expensive, very costly to maintain. Most of the civic centers that I'm aware of are owned by the city, and they're funded by the city. The employees are paid by the city. It's not the case in Heron. Back in the middle 1980s, the Illinois legislature passed a bill that allowed the funding for 3 civic centers in the state, Heron, Mount Vernon, and Quincy. Now, the official name of our civic center and those other 2 is a mouthful. It's Metropolitan Exposition, Auditorium, and Office Building Authority.
Wow. So those are the only 3 that are authorized through that piece of
Legislation. Yes.
Really?
Now, as far as I know, Mount Vernon is no longer in existence. Quincy still is. We have, since the beginning, there was never any external funding. By being a municipality, for some reason, there was no forethought given to funding to continued operation of these 3 civic centers, because we don't have the ability to tax.
Got it.
Which so
can be a
you're
problem for
on
funding.
your own. We're on our own, basically.
I did not realize that. So what other civic centers are you aware of in Southern Illinois? I know that Marion has a beautiful civic center. They've always got events going on. What other civic centers are there in Southern Illinois that you're aware of?
Oh, Benton has a nice civic center. Carterville has a nice civic center. That's the only 3 that I can. Carbondale
Okay, yep.
has a civic center, and all those are owned by the city.
Okay. What kind of events do you have on the horizon? What all goes on at the Civic Center that we can get people aware of, paying attention to?
Well, the one event that we have every month, which has been there for 5 years, is the Southern Illinois Opry, and that's how I become acquainted with the Civic Center.
Okay, tell me about that. What goes on with the Opry?
Well, there was a group of musicians, which I'm a wannabe musician.
What instrument, or what's your talent?
I don't have any talent, but I do own a dobro.
Nice. I like your bolo, man. You got me. I'm jealous of all of your attire and some of your interests.
Thank you. But we wanted to bring back or not let the old country disappear.
Absolutely.
The new country, which, don't get me wrong, I like, but it's hick hop, call it, or Nashville.
I see what you're saying.
Rap,
That's funny.
You know. But the George Jones, the Merle Haggards.
You consider Johnny Cash country?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So
Alabama stands out in my mind.
Alabama, I mean, there's George Strait, who's still active, is country. Alan Jackson is still country, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
But we got together and thought the area needed a place to showcase local talent. And
Absolutely.
believe me, there is a bunch of it in this area.
So when are these events? You said they're every...
The 3rd Saturday of every month.
Okay.
And what we try to do, we kind of patterned the show after the Grand Ole Opry.
Okay.
We have a variety of genres there. We have the bluegrass. We always have a gospel set, and then the vintage country set.
Okay.
So we try to cover the old stuff, you know.
Man, your job doesn't sound like much of a job at all. This sounds like fun. I'm kind of
Well,
jealous.
you know, I feel very lucky to have a job that you really, really like.
Absolutely.
That doesn't happen very often.
No, that's
I
good.
feel very blessed to be involved with the Civic Center.
I'm very excited to hear that you're promoting the Grand Ole Opry theme. It's an important part of our culture in Southern Illinois. I mean, you can't hardly turn on a radio station without hearing country. Country's the only thing I listened to growing up. I went to Our Lady of Mount Carmel there in Heron. I remember carpooling every day,
Right.
listening to 99.9. It's a very popular type of music, but we can't lose the origin of country music.
No,
I
and
think it's
that's
important that you're doing that.
And that's what we were really afraid of. And I have some people of my age down in Nashville that left here, went to Nashville, and did very good down there. and they're trying to do the same thing, but they're running up a brick wall, you know. Recently, Mason Ramsey, Little Hank, you've probably heard of him.
I've heard the name, yeah.
Okay, huge star right now in the country business. He's 12 years old. We've had him on the Opry 3 or 4 times at the Civic Center.
Very cool.
And last week I was with him down in Golconda.
It's a beautiful area.
Oh, it's gorgeous. They give him the keys to the city and a welcome road sign out, home of Little Hank Ramsey.
What an experience for a 12-year-old young man. I mean, just talk about the confidence and the personality and attitude development.
Oh, he's
on stage and have that practice.
He's an old man in a 12-year-old body. He was raised by his grandparents.
That helps explain it.
Salt of the earth from Golconda, okay?
Absolutely.
I mean, just the basic values that we all cherish. And they've conveyed that to him. I hope it doesn't change him. I mean, he's been around Justin Bieber and all the big names.
Well, what is the saying? Power, amplifies your character, or something to that extent. I mean, those characteristics that you see are only amplified, in my opinion, as you gain, influence or positions like that. But you're right. It can be corrupting if you do things for the wrong reason. So
yes.
Based on his upbringing, I'd say he's on the right track.
He is, and he's an amazing little fellow. He's in Canada right now touring.
Good for him.
He's going to open up for Florida Georgia Line in Las Vegas in December.
Awesome.
So,
well, tell me. So this is the third Saturday of every month. What's the admission? And for those wannabe musicians out there, how do they get in touch with you to try?
We have a Facebook page
Okay.
that they can reach us on. What's the first question? I already lost it.
Oh, just admission. How much?
Oh,
does it cost?
$10.
Okay, $10. Okay.
$10. You get the show starts at 7:30, and we're usually done by 10. So.
We have refreshments and things
We have refreshments. We have food and not hamburgers, but hot dogs, popcorn, sodas.
Kid-friendly?
Adult beverages.
Nice.
Kid-friendly, yes, absolutely
Wonderful.
kid-friendly.
My son just turned 3 in March, and
Bring him.
The first thing that he ever listened to was old country. And there's a couple of new artists. Like, have you heard of Sturgill Simpson?
Oh, yes, out of Texas.
Sturgill is one of those new country that he seems to have his ear to the ground to what country, how it started.
He does.
He's a brilliant musician.
But you don't hear him on the radio.
No, that's true.
Person. And the other person that I really respect was Bob Brewer.
Bob Brewer, the Brewer Foundation.
Brewer Foundation,
Okay.
yes.
What was Bob's story? How did he achieve such wonderful success in his life? I've heard a lot of his.
Well, he was
philanthropic
he was a fantastic person, and like we talked earlier, I'm pretty positive Bob didn't have a formal education, but he's what I call street smart.
Yeah.
He started off in a restaurant in Heron.
Okay.
He delivered milk, and he just went from there. Like I said, he had the street smarts, and he ended up being a huge hotel motel.
We're going to sorry about that, Richard. We're going to take a short break here on WGGH. Please stay tuned. And for those of you tuning into Facebook Live, stay tuned. We'll still be on here for the next 8-9 minutes.
If you need to move some earth, call Neat Cut Dirt Work. You've heard the Neat Cut name for years. They can do topsoil, fill dirt, tear buildings or houses down, dozer work. You name it, Neat Cut can move some earth. Neat Cut Dirt Work in Marion. Call 922-4400. 922-4400. It's a dirty job, but somebody's got to do it. Neat Cut Dirt Work in Marion. 922-4400. This is Lawler's Hometown Heroes. If you have any questions for today's guest, please call 618-993-8102. Once again, here's David Lawler.
Good morning, WGGH. David Lawler here with Lawler's Hometown Heroes. With me this morning is a very special guest, Richard Melvin, who's the Executive Director of the Harrison Civic Center. He's now my local bluegrass country expert. I'm learning all types of new terms this morning. We've covered everything from walleye in Canada to some of his positive influences in his life. The Harrison Civic Center, there's events going on every month. It sounds like the third Saturday of every month. People can go check out some truly powerful local performances. A lot of talented bluegrass and country musicians. It's only $10. Get there at 7:30. What else do you have going on? I think I have a flyer here with the Queen of Hearts. What days of the week? And it looks like it's a minimum. It's only $1 per ticket. So tell us a little bit more about this event.
The Queen of Hearts, since I became director at Civic Center, have racked my brain trying to increase the revenue there to provide necessary operation money and capital.
We've talked about that with the funding issues. You have to be creative. So.
And most of the things that I looked at was a huge gamble with upfront money, and it not a necessarily guaranteed to get your money back.
Absolutely. So how often is it? Every Tuesday?
We have the Queen of Hearts drawings every Tuesday. I kept hearing about the Queen of Hearts game up in Steelville that the American Legion has. They were on the verge of having to shut down that American Legion post. They borrowed $1,000 to start their game, and that game ended up at the end worth, someone got $1.5 million.
That is awesome.
Yes.
That is great. That'll get people excited. What's the purse up to right now at the Harrison Civic Center?
Right now we're up to $44,529.
Ooh.
We just completed our 6th raffle.
Okay.
So, and nobody's pulled the Queen of Hearts yet.
I like some healthy gambling. This would be fun. I'll
Maybe
come check it out.
you can try that Tuesday night when you're there.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Richard's putting on an event for me this Tuesday. If anyone wants to join, my good friend Tyler Edmonds and I are having an event at the Harrison Civic Center from 5 to 7 p.m. We're excited to be there.
We appreciate the business. Thank you.
It'll be fun. Tell me a little bit more about how we can try and encourage the younger generations to stay involved. We were talking about that before we came back on the air. Tell me what your ideas are. You expressed some concerns that we need to get the younger generation. Jackson, this is you. Jackson, you'd be proud of him. He's already traveled the world. His dad was a very good advocate for Southern Illinois. John Bradley was a state rep for many years. So Jackson's been able to travel around and meet a lot of people, and is just a very impressive young man.
So he'll be able to brag about his dad when he gets
exactly.
There.
Yeah, you better brag on your dad. When someone tells you who the most impactful person in your life is, your dad will be. You'll be in trouble. But tell me, what ideas do you have? Why does that concern you, and what do you think we can do to get people more involved?
Well, what concerns me most about the civic organizations these days is very, very few young people, and I'm talking about people your age even, don't have the time or the desire.
They say they don't have the time. They don't make the time.
Well, or desire to do that. The Chamber of Commerce is
it's a wonderful
organization, but there's not a whole lot of young age people there.
That's true. I will say I was very impressed with Harrison Chamber of Commerce. Their annual event in December was incredible.
Yes.
Marion's also thriving. Carterville's also thriving. It's such my favorite word is impactful, but it just seems to be a very impactful organization that keeps businesses connected. It, shows the power of good relationships and healthy networking.
Yes.
And the thing I liked about Heron is I really got a profound sense of community and the philanthropic efforts.
It's amazing. Heron is a very unique town. There's so many civic-minded people. We got the foundations there that contribute huge amounts of money.
And some of the names you're mentioning that have given back for so very long. And I have to brag on the Heron Civic Center for a second, because I was there just to kind of see what your Thanksgiving lunch and dinner was all about. And it was one of the most powerful and profound Thanksgiving experiences I've ever had. It just seemed like such a wonderful community event. It wasn't just for those people who were, underserved. It was a real sense of community for someone who maybe didn't have a whole lot of family in the area.
Exactly.
I delivered some food to just a couple of fellows who had surgery, who couldn't get out of the house. So opening your doors for that event is a really neat thing. I hope you'll continue to do that.
Well, I believe in the Civic Center being a community center, okay? Open the doors to everyone and anyone.
If anyone has not checked out their local Civic Center, do that. And for those that provide events like that. It's really important, and I think we've kind of answered our question. That's what parents need to do, is not ask their kids, require them. Say, hey, this is something that you want
Right.
your allowance, you want this roof over your head. Here are some things that you need to do. You're going to give back to your community. You're going to go to this Henry Gordon Lawler, if you're listening. You're 3 years old, but this next Thanksgiving, I know where I'm going to get your little butt
All right.
in the morning is over to
Yeah.
Heron Civic Center or other civic centers
Yes.
to give back and get involved. That's
Yes.
part of the answer. What other ideas do you have? What else can we do to get people excited about
Well,
giving back?
it's very difficult to get people out of the house these days. There's so much technology in the house, and these cell phones and internet connections that's their entertainment.
Not enough of this.
Right.
You
Not-
need in-person
Talk,
conversations.
Yes, exactly. I belong to the Rotary Club. That membership is dwindling. I belong to Masonic Lodge. That membership is dwindling because it's the young people don't want to get involved or understand
I think
what to do in their communities.
what I sense in this conversation and what we're getting at is a lack of connection, and there's a saying that, and this is a little bit off topic, but the opposite of addiction is not sobriety. The opposite of addiction is connection. If you think about the opioid epidemic and people maybe being too involved in their phones or in the house and not being civically engaged, what happens and what that symptom is a lack of connection, a lack of meaningful relationships. That networking is not just, hey, I'll help you if you help me. It's about learning who people are, establishing
Exactly.
trust and relationships, and
Exactly.
learning how you can collaborate and
And
synergize.
you get to meet people from all walks of life, and that's quite an education in itself.
Heck yeah.
You can learn a little bit something from everyone.
And when you travel, Jackson, maybe you can be a guest on my radio show in the future, because Jackson's about to take a trip to Europe and tour some of the concentration camps, learn about what's happened in Poland and Germany up
Right.
through Amsterdam. And, we were talking before we got here, Jackson, about, how maybe in school there should be a little bit more lessons about what we're talking about, the importance of civic engagement, personal development, emotional development, spiritual development, business development, because learning arithmetic is fundamentally important. We need to know how to count. We need to read.
Exactly.
But learning how to treat one another and how you learn and can be
Social
good
skills.
Social skills, exactly.
Right.
That's something that my favorite book of all time. We were talking about, Jackson, required reading. I'll them now. You're age, Richard. I feel like the
Yeah.
wisdom's starting to come out now. So let's, kind of, I guess we're going to be wrapping it up here in a little bit. Let's talk a little bit about some advice that you can pass along to the younger generation. I like asking people who've, been married for a long time what advice they have or relationship that have worked. And in interviews, one of my favorite questions is, someone had to come to you today and wanted some advice on how they could improve their life, improve their performance in every area of their life. What three things, or one thing, or two things would you tell them? What are some things some advice you can share?
Well, we all don't get the opportunity to necessarily have our first job that we like, or even adult jobs that we like. But still, don't want to preclude yourself from doing the best that you can do, whatever you do.
Amen.
Don't be a slacker.
We're going to wrap it up here on WGGH. If you want to hear the last part of this brilliant and wise question and answer here with Richard Melvin, you can check it out on the Facebook page. David Lawler here, Lawler's Hometown Heroes. Thank you so much for tuning in, and thank you so much for being here with me this morning,
Well,
Richard.
it's been my pleasure, David.
Now you can fly anywhere in the world and pay discount prices on your airline tickets. Book a flight today to London, Paris, Madrid, or anywhere else you want to go and pay a lot less guaranteed. Call the International Travel Department right now at Low Cost Airlines.
800-216-8991. 800-216-8991. Again, that's 800-216-8991.
W253CR Marion, now at 98.5 FM, and the legendary WGGH Marion.
More protectionist direction have done worse.
On Wall Street, the Dow rose 56 points. I'm Ann Cates.
Not too long ago, it felt good to withdraw your cash from the bank, didn't it? For a vacation or a new car. But today, withdrawing your own cash has become risky. Pat Boone here for Swiss America. According to The Secret War, a new Swiss America white paper, I learned that all banks are now required to spy on you and me for the government, and then report any financial behavior deemed suspicious or unusual. You must read The Secret War. It's free. Just call 800-289-2646. Again, 800-289-2646. Truth is, I believe the government's new war against cash is really a war against us all. But the secret is now out. So please, get and read The Secret War. Available free by calling 800-289-2646. Again, 800-289-2646 or at SwissAmerica.com.
Reason number 12 why you should own a ThermoSpa's hot tub? They require no attachment to your home's plumbing. Thanks to the ThermoSpa's unique built-in thermofiltration system that filters the water an incredible 144 times a day, you simply fill it with a garden hose and your water stays crystal clear with very little maintenance. Call to receive a free DVD and brochure and find out how you can own a ThermoSpa's hot tub for only a few dollars a day. Right now, they're offering 0% APR financing with approved credit and a $1,000 savings coupon, including free delivery, free chemicals, and a cash discount. And with models starting at $4,995, there will never be a better time to own a ThermoSpa's hot tub. So call now and ask about this limited time offer. Call ThermoSpa's today at 800-986-9794 for your free DVD and brochure. That's 800-986-9794. ThermoSpa's, hot tubs designed to improve your life. Call 800-986-9794 today to take advantage of 0% APR financing.
Southern Illinois weather. Partly cloudy this afternoon with highs around 89. North winds 8 to 15 miles per hour. Tonight, lows dip down to about 67. Mainly sunny skies and calm. Tomorrow, high of 86. Temperatures near average Thursday and Friday with highs in the upper 80s. Chance for scattered storms Friday. From the Weather Eye Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki on Monster Radio AM 1150. Currently, it's 90.
Up-to-the-minute local information when you need it. Monster Radio at AM 1150 and WGGH.net.
These things that have gotten accomplished matter, and they're significant.
Just getting the government out of our lives is so intrusive, invasive, expensive, and expansive.
Government is a greedy piglet.
And it's maddening to hear Republicans say, I love these policy achievements, but I hate this guy so much, I wish Hillary Clinton were president.
Now, from the ReliefFactor.com studios, here's Mike Gallagher.
Before we go back to your calls and continue to get your reaction to the nonsense and the insanity and the frenzied, over-the-top reaction to Helsinki yesterday. Incidentally, I've got a great clip. You know where you're going to get the most wisdom today? Won't be from me, won't be from anybody you see on TV, won't be from Michael Goodwin, it won't be from Newt Gingrich, it won't be from any of the talking heads. It'll be from a progressive who is an editor at The Nation, a far-left publication, a guy named Stephen Cohen. Did you see him last night with Tucker Carlson? I almost fell off the chair. I thought, this is the world we're living in. I am screaming in agreement with a guy who's an editor at The Nation. It was unbelievable. I'll play this audio clip for you in just a moment. So, but before we do any of that, can we step back for just a few seconds and first of all acknowledge the extraordinary goodness that Americans have. Americans are great. You know, there's all this craziness about the difficulty of figuring out the illegal immigration process and what to do with children, and the left, of course, convinced that, President Trump is Ebenezer Scrooge or worse, intentionally ripping children from their parents. I want to remind you about our summer campaign for Food for the Poor. You've never let me down. You've never let me down. And Food for the Poor is a nonprofit Christian relief organization that helps the poorest of the poor in places like Haiti and Guatemala especially. I've been on these trips with Food for the Poor over the years, and this is an organization that means an awful lot to me. They once built a house in my wife's honor and her memory after she died. There was a needy poor family living in the Denise Gallagher house. That's what this group means to me. Do you know that if you donate $50, you'll be feeding a child for an entire year and providing water for life? Food for the Poor goes into places like Haiti and Guatemala, creating water purification systems. Water is such an important element of what they do, the work that they do. Help us move mountains and save lives. There's a Give Life banner up at MikeOnline.com that's a very easy couple-of-step process to donate. Go to MikeOnline.com, whatever you can afford. You sent thousands of kids to summer camp. You've helped us ring the bell at Christmas, the Red Kettle campaign for the Salvation Army, and now I'm asking you to open up your heart and your wallet a little bit and help save lives in hard-hit, impoverished areas like Haiti and Guatemala. Again, go to MikeOnline.com, click on the Give Life banner, where you can donate easily online, or call toll-free 844-860-HOPE. And let me, again, brag on you and get to tell the world I have the most generous radio audience in the universe. Because you have helped me move mountains, and you give me inspiration and joy to come to work. To have something like this, to have a project like this, at times like these, means a lot to me. Again, go to MikeOnline.com, click on the Give Life banner, or you can just call toll-free. Have your credit card ready and call toll-free 844-860-HOPE. 844-860-4673. And thank you on behalf of our friends at Food for the Poor and the entire team here at the Mike Gallagher Show. All right, ready for this? Listen to this. This is, again, The Nation, a progressive, leftist publication. Contributing editor Stephen Cohen appears with Tucker Carlson last night. And he says the following.
The reaction by most of the media, by the Democrats, by the anti-Trump people, is like mob violence. I've never seen anything like it in my life. This is the President of the United States doing what every president, Tucker, since Franklin Delano Roosevelt did in 1943 with Stalin, meeting with the head of the Kremlin. And every president since Eisenhower, a Republican by the way, has met with the leader of the Kremlin for one existential purpose: to avoid war between the two nuclear superpowers. Today, in my considered, scholarly, long-time judgment, relations between the United States and Russia are more dangerous than they have ever, let me repeat, ever been, including the Cuban Missile Crisis. I want my president to do, I didn't vote for this president, but I want my president to do what every other president has done. Sit with the head of the other nuclear superpower and walk back the conflicts that could lead to war, whether they be in Syria, Ukraine, in the Baltic nations, in these accusations of cyber attacks. Every president has been encouraged to do that and applauded by both parties, not Trump. Look what they did to him today. They held a kangaroo court. They found him guilty. And then you have the former head of the United States CIA, who himself ought to be put under oath and asked about his role in inventing Russiagate, calling the President of the United States treasonous. What have we come to in this country?
That's wisdom. And listen, that's what I mean about sometimes having to listen to the other side. That's a progressive. That's a guy who writes for The Nation. And he's absolutely right. We have no idea what was said behind closed doors between Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin. We do know what was said at that press conference, and yes, it was a stumble. Wish the president had worded things differently. But to accuse him of treason, and watching the media line up all the usual suspects. Oh, is Bob Corker upset? Oh, John McCain issued a scathing statement? I'm shocked. Really? John McCain? Oh, no. Come on. Oh, Jeff Flake? Jeff Flake is upset with the president's performance? Jeff Flake is upset when the president gets out of bed in the morning. Spare me the outrage from the people who hate this president and want him to fail. Again, the overreaction is going to drive more and more people right into the arms of the GOP and absolutely prevent the Democrats from winning in November. I am convinced of that with all of my heart. Back to your phone calls, 19 minutes before the hour. Here in the ReliefFactor.com studios, our number is 800-655-MIKE. Here's Donald. Thanks for hanging in there. Donald, how are you, sir?
I'm good. Thanks for taking my call.
You bet.
I just wanted to point out that to me it looks like Obama has changed the whole way we deal with our intelligence personnel. I'm not that old, but I remember when CIA, when government operatives would kill people, and unless you caught them in the act, nobody would admit that anything happened. We would trade spies back and forth, and I thought the way intelligence was supposed to work is that they got the information, they gave it to the president, and then he used it in our interest the best way he could. He could put it out in public, or he can go behind the scenes and try to trade back and forth. But to me, it looks like our intelligence department is trying to undercut this president.
Well, we saw this intelligence community. Of course, they tried to undercut this president. There are all kinds of examples of it. There's stuff that is so deep and so profound, and that's the stuff we know. That's the stuff we know. You know, the bottom line is we have seen an unprecedented attempt to stop this president. To recognize, to James Comey directing his buddy, a college professor, to leak sensitive material to the New York Times, desperately trying to stop this Are you kidding me? Comey, by the way, he's tweeting last night too. He's just right in there on the, he's screaming to the mouth, oh, this is terrible. I don't even want to read Comey's quotes. Really? You're going to tweet? You're going to tweet? Go back to your book tour. So, you know, when people say, oh, it's just awful that this president gave the edge or whatever, or the nod to Russia over the intelligence community doesn't have a whole lot of a track record that one would think anyone could be real excited about. Now, having said that, of course, it's very difficult to try to defend the president seemingly blaming both countries for Russian interference. The issue of Russia attempting to meddle in our election, if that's the right word to use, is problematic and should not be minimized, and I never have. We never will. You shouldn't. Russia is not our friend. Vladimir Putin is not a good guy. Doesn't mean you got to go to World War III with Russia. Because if the nukes start flying, then a couple of clumsy sentences at a press conference by President Trump will seem like a blink of an eye and a walk in the park. And that's what the president is trying to avoid. The president said one thing yesterday that was so powerful and so profound. It was a brilliant quote about pursuing peace. We'll play that for you next and continue to get your reaction at 800-655-MIKE. 16 minutes before the hour. Busy edition of the Mike Gallagher Show in the ReliefFactor.com studios. I'm in my very comfy chair that I'm about to tell you about. So I can't even get stressed because I'm in an X chair. What's an X chair? Stay tuned. I'll tell you now.
Feet up and kick your feet up, dance with me.
This X chair that I'm sitting in right now, Pavlina's going to put the video up. If you're on the stream, I want you to take a look at it. Are you sitting in an office chair and you're not in, like, sitting on a slice of heaven? It's beautiful, it's sleek, it's modern. It will improve the look of any room or office. It's got an ultra-personalized fit. Hundreds of different ways you can customize the chair for your exact body type and comfort level. They gave me one. I mean, I'll tell you, I'll happily tell you they provided an X chair for our studio. Then I bought one for Pavlina, and I bought another one for my home studio in my home. Think about all the hours a day you spend in your office chair. This X chair is unbelievable. Experience the X chair for yourself by going online to xchairmike.com or calling toll-free 844-4XChair. X chair always comes with a 30-day, no questions asked, money-back guarantee. You're going to be completely satisfied. The X chair is on sale right now for $100 off. So call 844-4XChair or just go to xchairmike.com. And incidentally, business owners, what a great incentive for the good people who work for you to get them their very own X chair. If you use the promo code MikeFootrest at xchairmike.com, they'll throw in a free footrest as well. Lots of great opportunities, lots of great incentives. Go to xchairmike.com. Again, if you look right now on the stream at mikeonline.com, I'm modeling, I'm posing, I'm pretending to type so you can see that I'm leaning back, but it's a great looking chair. And it comes in all kinds of styles and in terms of color and mesh and the different materials. The lumbar support. I've never been in a chair more comfortable in my life. I love this chair, my X chair. Again, on sale now, $100 off. Go to xchairmike.com, xchairmike.com. Use the code MikeFootrest. They'll throw in a free footrest. xchairmike.com or call 844-XChair.
Mike Gallagher. You keep seeing those invitations in your mailbox. In fact, you probably already joined. You've got the AARP card. You thought, it's less than $20 a year. They help with insurance plans, travel, and restaurant discounts. It'll pay for itself 10 times over. So you joined a liberal lobbying group that spends millions of your dollars a year lobbying against what you believe in and stand for. That's why a decade ago, Dan Weber founded AMAC. AMAC is also less than $20 a year, and they also help with insurance plans, travel, and restaurant discounts. And their card will also pay for itself 10 times over. And your dollars go to support things you believe in. Common sense immigration laws, the passage of tax reform, and replacing Obamacare. And AMAC gets its voice from you, the member, over 1 million strong. Join now at amac.us or by calling toll-free 888-262-2006. That's amac.us or call 888-262-2006. Join AMAC today.
You know, I'm not a genius about money. I love my credit cards, and they love me. I was using them as a source of income, and then I got behind in my payments, and creditors were calling. I figured I had a problem, and I didn't know how to deal with it. I heard about Trinity, so I called and talked to a counselor. In half an hour, we worked out a plan. Now I've got one easy monthly payment, a lower interest rate, and I'm getting out of debt.
If you're in an endless cycle of paying on credit card balances that never seem to go away, then get ready for a toll-free number that will put you on a path to financial recovery. Trinity will consolidate your accounts, put a stop to late fees and over-limit charges, reduce your interest, and possibly improve your credit score. You'll save thousands. If your debt has you down, we should talk. Call 1-800-990-6976. That's 1-800-990-6976. Call 1-800-990-6976.
Ike was such a sweet, lovable animal, and people would want to pet him, and they'd come up, and they'd get close to him, and it would be this instant, oh! My dad didn't want to touch him. It's like, ooh, get the stinky dog away from me.
Even after we'd give her a bath, she would still stink.
Very stinky, both bad breath and bad gas. I asked the vet, and he said some dogs are just stinky.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dinovite for help.
DINOVITE.com.
The omega-3 fatty acids.
Flaxseed, zinc, alfalfa, the digestive enzymes that are cooked out of regular dog food.
The ingredients convinced me that it was definitely worth trying. After about a week, he started smelling normal. My husband and I were really kind of astonished.
Dinovite is nutrition.
859-428-1000.
DINOVITE.com.
The way you get your medicine prescriptions is now changing across America. GoGoMeds.com can deliver your medicine right to your door. Ask your doctor to send your prescription to GoGoMeds.com. Once you fill in your information, it's in the system and your prescription is delivered. It's just that easy. Go to GoGoMeds.com and use the promo code MIKE2018 and save $10 on your first prescription. That's GoGoMeds.com, and the promo code MIKE2018 gets you $10 off your first prescription.
Gallagher.
A couple of people are pointing out that Stephen Cohen, who is a editor at The Nation, again, a far-left progressive magazine, he's not exactly, of course, an extreme radical lefty, and I don't mean to make that an inference. A guy, though, who's an editor at The Nation, using the kind of logic that he used about the lynch mob that we saw yesterday, really the political violence. You know what they did on the cover of the New York Daily News? Which out-disgusts itself almost every week. They've got a cartoon showing, first of all, a huge banner, bold headline, open treason. A groveling President Trump said Monday that the way Vladimir Putin told him niet about meddling in the elections was wink, wink, persuasive. The cartoon shows, now this is an anti-gun liberal newspaper, right? The Daily News, they're always railing against guns. They show Trump holding Putin's hand with his right hand, and with his left hand, he's got a big handgun, and he's shooting Uncle Sam in the head. He's killing the United States, executing the United States with a headshot, complete with blood coming out of Uncle Sam's head and everything. That's the liberal New York Daily News. Now, here is the quote. We're going to cue it up here in just a moment, but I'll read it to you since we're a little bit behind the eight ball here and there's a lot of audio to get. Here's what the president said that's lost in the noise. And what I want this show to be all the time is I want this show to cut through the noise. There's a lot of noise last night. A lot of noise, a lot of histrionics, a lot of nonsense, a lot of lies. Did you hear about CNN getting caught in a lie? Did you hear about the guest that was booked on CNN and then didn't appear? And then they lied about why he didn't appear, as he said they told him they would. They promised to lie. You want to hear about fake news before I give you the quote of the day from President Trump? Erin Burnett was supposed to have a guest on, a Trump supporter, former National Security Council spokesman Michael Anton. Didn't appear. Here's what Erin Burnett said was the reason he didn't appear.
Out front now, Julie Yaffe, contributing writer for The Atlantic, journalist, correspondent for GQ magazine, expert on all things Russia, John Avlon, CNN senior political analyst. And I want to note, there's not another person on the screen. Michael Anton was going to be here. He's the former National Security Council spokesperson under President Trump. He canceled, and he knows I'm going to tell you this, because he said he could not defend the president on his actions today.
So that became the story. Michael Anton canceled because he couldn't defend Trump. That was everywhere. It was in the New York Post. It was at Mediaite. Michael Anton gave a statement to The Hill, and it reads, quote, "From the moment President Trump's press conference ended, CNN's coverage was atrocious and histrionic. I did cancel because I knew that whatever I said, CNN would try to use me as a cudgel with which to bash the president. I support President Trump, and I never want to be misused as an instrument to undermine him or his administration. As soon as CNN was informed of my withdrawal, they threatened to cite that withdrawal on air to bash the president. And that's exactly what they did. It's clear I made the right decision." That's a huge story. They caught CNN in a bald-faced lie. Erin Burnett lied. CNN lied, according to Michael Anton. Mainstream media doesn't even notice. They don't even pay attention. Here's a guy confirming that they threatened to lie about him if he didn't appear and say, oh, you're not going to support the president. And they did exactly that. Fake news. Here was the most important thing. Cut through the noise. Yes, I believe the president stumbled with his comment about Russia, believing Russia rather than believing Vladimir Putin over meddling in the election. It certainly did not rise to any kind of extraordinary event like Pearl Harbor or anything like that. But here's what's wrong that was lost with all the noise. Let's cut through the noise and listen to what the president said about why he was in Helsinki to begin with.
I would rather take a political risk in pursuit of peace than to risk peace in pursuit of politics.
Now, that's for a guy who probably didn't make a presidential perfect press conference yesterday. That's as presidential as it gets. That's one of those lines for the ages in terms of trying to avoid a nuclear conflict with, let me play it one more time.
I would rather take a political risk in pursuit of peace than to risk peace in pursuit of politics.
Yeah. Treason, my fat fanny. That's why the president will continue to get the support he gets. And the overreaction, the hysteria from the people who hate him, well, those folks aren't smart enough to realize they're driving more and more people into his arms. There's a lot more coming up. When you hear the media montage of that crazy day yesterday, stick around. The news about the economy gets better every day. Lowest unemployment in years, growth in GDP we haven't seen in a decade. Now we hear that there are more jobs than people to fill them. The tax cuts passed last December are a huge reason all this is happening. Employers are giving raises, bonuses. People are seeing more in their paychecks. But that could all go away. Because of budgeting rules, Congress could only make those tax cuts temporary. But now there's a clear choice to be made. Republicans want to make those tax rate cuts permanent, and the Democrats want to get rid of them altogether. What choice would you make to help your family? Seems easy, right? Go to taxcutswork.com and email a letter to Congress telling them to make these tax cuts permanent. You can even share your story of how the tax cuts are helping you. Don't let the Democrats stop you from keeping more money in your pocket. Nearly 20,000 people have signed and emailed their letter to Congress. Around 3,000 more have shared their stories. Go to taxcutswork.com. Please add your name to this growing movement. Go to taxcutswork.com now. taxcutswork.com.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynavite for help.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynavite.
Dynavite is nutrition.
Pick up 2 bottles of Lico Chops. Get the 3rd bottle free.
New improved Lico Chops with omega-3, omega-6, vitamin E.
And now, 6 extra direct-fed microbials.
Even better for the digestive tract and immune system.
Try Lico Chops. Buy 2, get 1 free.
At Dynavite.com.
DINOVITE.com.
Hey, Mike, how's the house coming along?
Needs a ton of work. The pipes are leaking. Needs a new roof. The AC just broke. I just don't have time to do it all myself. You know anyone?
Oh, just ask Home Advisor. They match you with the best local pros for any home project.
Cool.
Yeah, you can read reviews and book appointments online.
What's it cost?
Actually, Home Advisor is always free to use.
Nice. I'll check it out.
Go to homeadvisor.com or download the free app.
Home Advisor. Mike Gallagher.
This is the Pepsi that's got a date with your taste buds. We're talking 1,000 bubbles dancing a two-step with you and 2 tacos at 2 a.m.
Order number 83. Come on, you're up.
This is the Pepsi that has mastered the art of the late-night munchies and is always down to dig into some deep dish.
Hey, we don't do deep dish, capiche?
Try telling that to Chicago. This is the Pepsi for po' boys, pulled pork sliders, and the godfather of all sandwiches, the Godfather. This is the Pepsi for street carts, anything a la carte, and is dying to make the leap into your grocery cart. Come on, take us home with you. This is the Pepsi for those who are forever fun. This is the Pepsi for every generation.
Hey y'all, it's Luke Combs. Check out my deluxe album, This One's For You Too, available now, featuring new tracks, including the fan favorite, Beautiful Crazy. And be sure to pick up an ice-cold can of Diet Dr. Pepper to find out how you can win a VIP experience with me in Nashville.
W253CR Marion, now at 98.5 FM, and the legendary
WGGH Marion.
Presidential backtracking, the Republican response. I'm Ann Cates. President Trump now says he supports U.S. intelligence and its conclusion that Russia meddled in the election, one day after accepting Vladimir Putin's denial that the Kremlin interfered. Correspondent Boris Sanchez says the president's statement came out of a high-level session.
We're learning that several top national security officials actually met earlier in the day, and according to sources, determined that the president had to clarify the remarks that he made in Helsinki. They even crafted part of this response. I did want to point out the president had his own edition. We saw a number of markings on these pages, and one part he specifically wrote out, quote, "There was no collusion."
Congressman Adam Schiff, the ranking Democrat on the House Intelligence Committee, says the president was trying to clean up the mess he made yesterday. Correspondent Manu Raja reports GOP lawmakers, meanwhile, are figuring out their next step.
They're struggling with how to respond.
Could say it's embarrassing, but I don't think that does it sufficient justice.
Really, the antics over the last 10 days have been damaging to our country.
But Republican options are limited. They're discussing a legislative response, including possible new sanctions on Russia, or a symbolic resolution expressing support for the U.S. intelligence community.
MGM Resorts has filed a lawsuit against 1,000 victims of last October's mass shooting in Las Vegas. Correspondent Jim Roop.
The lawsuit claims Mandalay Bay, owned by MGM Resorts, is not liable for any deaths, injuries, or damage from the 1 October shooting because it and its security vendor did everything right in providing security for the Route 91 Harvest Festival, according to Homeland Security's protocol. The company cites a 2002 federal act that protects any company that uses anti-terrorism technology and services designed to help prevent and respond to mass violence.
On Wall Street, the Dow Jones Industrial Average rose 56 points. The Nasdaq gained 49. I'm Ann Cates.
Here's some great news. If you missed the deadline to sign up for a health care plan, or more importantly, if you signed up for a plan that you're just not happy with, you still have a choice. It's called Medi-Share. Medi-Share is a Christian healthcare sharing program. It's been around for 25 years. They have hundreds of thousands of members all across the country. And get this, over the years, Medi-Share members have shared more than $2.5 billion of each other's medical bills. Best of all, you could save a lot of money with Medi-Share. The typical savings for a family is about $500 a month. Your savings may be less or more, but think about what you could do with that extra money every month. So if you think you're stuck with a high-cost health plan that doesn't have much to offer, think again. You can join Medi-Share anytime, so call them today and check it out. Here's the number to find out more. There's no pressure. They're super easy to talk to. Just hit *848. That's *848, *848.
This hour's news is brought to you by Roberts Insurance in Marion.
Up-to-the-minute local information when you need it. This is a Southern Illinois News Center update.
The Southern Illinois Board of Trustees named J. Kevin Dorsey as the interim president of the university. The board voted unanimously at a special meeting Monday. According to the special meeting agenda, Southern Illinois University System President Randy Dunn agreed to part ways with the university. His official termination date is July 30th. Dunn will be paid a 6-month severance of $215,000. His paid leave started yesterday. According to the agenda, it's expected Dunn will be a visiting professor at SIU Edwardsville beginning January 1st, receiving $100,000 per year. Marion police are investigating a shooting that sent an El Dorado man to an Indiana hospital. Officers were called to Heartland Regional Medical Center around 8:45 p.m. Sunday. Investigators say 20-year-old William J. Emmons had been shot in the chest. Emmons was taken by medical helicopter to an Evansville, Indiana hospital. At this point, it's unclear where the shooting took place. Anyone with information about the shooting is asked to call the Marion Police Department. Carbondale police are looking for a suspect in connection with a forgery and identity theft investigation. According to police, a man wearing a light-colored polo shirt and blue jeans used the personal information of an out-of-state victim to make a purchase at Best Buy June 25th. Carbondale police say the suspect charged the item to the victim's account. The investigation into this incident is ongoing. Anyone with information about the investigation is asked to call the Carbondale Police Department or Crime Stoppers. A vehicle reported stolen in Vienna Wednesday has been found and the reported thief has been caught. Richard Dwayne Colbroth has been taken into custody according to the Vienna Police Department. Officers thanked the public for their help in locating the stolen vehicle and the suspect. Police announced Colbroth was caught around 11:30 p.m. According to police, a 2008 silver Toyota Highlander was stolen in Vienna. It was found near the Johnson County line just inside Williamson County near Parker City. In the newsroom, I'm Tim Petrovich.
You've worked hard. You're finally your own boss of a successful contracting business. For an insurance plan that protects your livelihood, call your local Pekin Insurance Agency, Roberts Insurance Agency in Marion, about contractors insurance. They are experts on insurance protection designed specifically for your class of business. You'll get first-rate, flexible, and dependable service that goes the extra mile to give you the results you desire. Contractors insurance that goes beyond the expected to make a difference for you and your business. Call your Pekin Insurance Agency, Roberts Insurance Agency at 997-3353 today.
Southern Illinois weather.
Lows dip down to about 68 tonight under partly cloudy skies. Winds out of the northeast 5 to 10 miles an hour. Highs level off around 86 tomorrow. Mainly sunny skies and calm. Partly cloudy skies tomorrow night. Lows dip down to about 66. From the Weather Eye Weather Center, powered by weatherology.com, I'm meteorologist Derek Height on Monster Radio AM 1150. Currently, it's 88 degrees.
Hello, I'm Jimmy Dean of Monster Radio WGGH. I'm asking for your help. The Johnston City Council has agreed to name a new park, the Mike Dean Memorial Park, if my family can raise $15,000 towards the cost. Many of you knew Mike as a friend, colleague, sports announcer, teacher, or someone that he has helped. Checks should be made payable to the Mike Dean Park Fund and mailed to the Johnston City Treasurer's Office, care of Johnston City City Hall. All donations are tax deductible, and thank you from the entire Dean family.
Breaking news at a breakneck pace. This is the Mike Gallagher Show.
1-800-655-MIKE. I want your voice on this. Let's go.
Since 1978, Mike Gallagher has been a voice of clarity for millions of Americans.
Thank you for asking the tough questions.
A show known by the most famous man on the planet.
You've been great, Mike, and I appreciate it very much. You notice I walked over here very quickly.
Now, from the ReliefFactor.com studios, here's Mike Gallagher.
I like the line that was coined, the phrase, the expression that Michael Goodwin, the Pulitzer Prize-winning writer for the New York Post, said in reacting to yesterday's explosive, frenzied news cycle. Sometimes you eat the bear, sometimes the bear eats you, even when you are president of the United States. There were some reasonable, logical responses to the president's press conference in Helsinki yesterday. We carried some of it on the show. The timing, of course, was such that by the time he got to the question and answer session, we were finished for the day yesterday, so we didn't have a chance to fully absorb the shock and awe of the president's remarks. But Michael Goodwin, in his piece, one of the few logical, reasonable responses. In case you're wondering, no, this was not treason. No, the president's answers did not amount to high crimes and misdemeanors. This wasn't Pearl Harbor. Oh, yeah, somebody literally said Pearl Harbor, 9/11, Kristallnacht. My gosh. And as usual, the ones who hate Trump overplay their hand to a degree with their outrage that they'll drive more normal people into the arms of the Republican Party. But I want to share with you some of the comments from Michael Goodwin because to me it makes a lot of sense. Because he, like me, was disappointed in some aspects of the Helsinki summit. Certainly the press conference. The president was asked whether he believed Putin's denial or our intelligence community. Was the most important question of the day, writes Michael Goodwin, and Trump whiffed. Actually, whiffed is too kind. And incidentally, before you get defensive, Michael Goodwin has been very supportive of the president and very reasonable in his coverage of the Trump administration. Michael Goodwin writes, the president missed an easy chance to put the issue to rest once and for all. He started when he was asked, as you know, by saying Dan Coates, his national intelligence director, and others said they think it's Russia. I have President Putin. He just said it's not Russia. I will say this. I don't see any reason why it would be. But I want to see the server. I have confidence in both parties. Now, this is a variation of an answer Trump has given since the election. But standing next to Putin, 18 months into his presidency, and with Coates, Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, and others he appointed running things, it is not an answer Trump can credibly give now. The president's disappointing performance, writes Michael Goodwin, instantly energized the hate Trumpers, giving them ammunition to allege that Putin actually does have compromising information on Trump. Otherwise, they say, why won't Trump confront Putin over the meddling? Now, here's what's very important about what Michael Goodwin writes. Though most Trump haters are not logical, they're not reasonable, in this case, their allegation deserves an answer. Goodwin says, mine is that Trump has become so deeply defensive over the Russia collusion charge that it created a trap for himself and fell into it head first. The president repeated things about the charge that bug him to no end, that the allegation and the existence of Mueller's probe are creating a cloud over his presidency and straining relations between the United States and Russia. He's right. Just think about how much Washington and media time are spent on this probe. Trump is understandably sensitive to the fact that repeated claims by Clinton and others that Russia stole the election are aimed at undercutting his legitimacy. It's no small point. Trump is infuriated that the Obama White House weaponized law enforcement to defeat him, and that even some members of his own team appear to be working against him. But Trump's mistake, writes Michael Goodwin, is to lump the question of meddling with the charge that he colluded with Russia to steal the election. By conflating them into a single issue, the only possible answer he can give is no. Hell no. That's the trap. Instead, he should separate the two issues and answer them individually. And I like what Michael Goodwin does in this piece that we'll post at MikeOnline.com so you can read it. Here's what he could have said. So with all the flapping and the screaming and the hand-wringing and the pearl clutching and all the histrionics, oh, I'm never going to support Trump again. Yeah, you were in, a lot of people who said that you hate him to begin with. You hated to begin with. So spare me trotting out Jeff Flake and John McCain and Bob Corker as Republicans who have turned on the president. They didn't turn on the president. They've been against the president from the day he became the president. Normal people know this. Normal people have a normal reaction to a day like yesterday. And here's what a normal, talented, Pulitzer Prize-winning writer named Michael Goodwin suggested the president could have said. He could have said, I trust my intelligent leaders, and they are confident Russia meddled in the election. I accept their conclusion, and I told President Putin he must never do it again. If he does, the sanctions we imposed so far will look like child's play compared to what we would do next. Period. Stop. Would have been a good answer. And incidentally, Trump could have also added, says Michael Goodwin, at the same time I won the election fair and square, 63 million voters responded to our promise to secure our borders, improve trade deals, rebuild our military, and treat our workers with the respect and allegiance we owe them. There was no collusion on my part, nor do I know of any collusion by anyone on my team. And do not forget that there are no allegations and certainly no evidence that a single vote was changed because of anything Russia did. We won the election the old-fashioned way, the president could have said, by outworking our opponent and promising to put America first. We're keeping that promise every day, and will continue to for as long as I'm privileged and honored to be your next president. Michael Goodwin concludes by saying, coulda, shoulda, woulda. Maybe next time. Now, again, it's okay to wish the president had a better answer than the ones he gave yesterday and continue, of course, to believe in his agenda and appreciate what is being accomplished. It's not okay to act like, pardon my language, a damn fool and freak out because the president stumbled a bit. And anyone who wants to pretend that he committed an act of treason needs either a long vacation or a short visit to the therapist. You're just confirming what we already know. You've hated him. There is a hatred that people have that is irrational. Com Studios, our number is 800-655-MIKE. Call or text us. We've got the bosses watching the chat room and Mike Online today. So I want to see if we can get a whole bunch of people in there so that you can make me look good. Because, you know, that's all right. It's been a rough 24 hours. We're going to get through all this together. But I want you to do me a favor. Go to MikeOnline.com. Watch the show as you listen to us on the radio. Pop into the chat room. It's a lot of fun. Let's get a record number of eyes into the Mike Online, Watch Mike on TV banner today. Just go to MikeOnline.com. Let's blow it out of the water and show the bosses how loyal this audience really is. So go to MikeOnline.com. Click the Watch Mike on TV button. And again, watch our show as you listen to us on the radio. And I hope you can interact in the chat room as well. It's a lot of fun. A lot of great people in there right now chatting away about the events of the last 24 hours. It's a good interactive digital way to be a part of the Mike Gallagher Show. MikeOnline.com. Your voice, your call, your perspective, because that's what I care about. I don't care about the talking heads and the so-called pundits. Best pundits I've got, you, next on the Mike Gallagher Show.
The sun and moon, and they were shining.
As people improve the cybersecurity on their computers, the thieves are turning back to stealing from mailboxes. The old-fashioned mail phishing. Thieves use things like sticky rat traps tied to strings to get envelopes out of mailboxes. So many threats in today's world. Takes one weak link for the bad guys to get in. That's why you got to have LifeLock in your corner, like I do. I so love having that peace of mind from LifeLock Identity Theft Protection, and they've added the power of Norton Security to help protect me against threats to my identity and my devices that I can't easily see or fix on my own. If there's a problem, their agents are going to work to fix it. I love these guys. No one can stop every cyber threat, prevent all identity theft, or monitor transactions at all businesses. But new LifeLock with Norton Security can see the threats you might otherwise miss on your own. Go to LifeLock.com or call 800-LifeLock and use the promo code Gallagher to get an additional 10% off your first year. It's a great offer. Promo code Gallagher for an additional 10% off. LifeLock.com or 1-800-LifeLock.
What are you going to do with your old car? You can try selling it, you could junk it, or you could donate it to Heritage for the Blind. Your car will be towed away for free, and your donation is tax deductible. Just call 1-800-785-9618. Heritage for the Blind accepts cars, vans, trucks, and boats. It doesn't matter if your vehicle runs or not. It will be towed away for free, and you'll be supporting those that need help. Heritage for the Blind is a nonprofit organization that helps the visually impaired live fuller lives. Call right now to donate your car, and as a special thank you for calling, you'll receive a free 3-day vacation voucher to many exciting locations. Call Heritage for the Blind right now, 1-800-785-9618. Donating is easy, and your vehicle is towed away for free. Plus, you'll get a free vacation voucher. Call now, 1-800-785-9618. That's 1-800-785-9618.
Now's the time to soak up that summer sun and spend time with friends and family. Instead of spending that valuable time on home projects, let Home Advisor take them off your plate. Whether you've been thinking about a big project like installing a new sprinkler system or a small project like just mowing the lawn, go to HomeAdvisor.com. Tell them what you need. In just seconds, you're going to be matched with the best pros in your area who can do the work and do it right. You can read customer reviews of the pros, check their availability, even book appointments online for a time that works best for you. And with Home Advisor's Project Cost Guide, you can check what others paid for similar jobs in your area so you know you're getting a fair price. No matter what home project you've been thinking about, installing a new AC unit, new windows, maybe a big job like a new roof, Home Advisor makes it easy to find and hire the best pros in your area. Find great pros now to handle the job this summer so you can kick back and relax. Go to HomeAdvisor.com or download the free app to get started on your next project. That's HomeAdvisor.com. HomeAdvisor.com.
Mike Gallagher.
I don't know about you, but most folks need energy for more than 5 hours a day. From work to home to play, you always want to be at your best and feel like you're not just participating. Well, thanks to the industry leader M-Drive and their newest product, Workforce, you can. With their Workforce product, they've mastered the formulation and process to deliver the absolute best, legitimate, and clinically tested blend of the perfect ingredients. And you know how they did it? They studied, tested, retested, and refined the Workforce formula so that it's built for those out there working their tail off all day, every day. Workforce, immediate energy, all-day performance. Finish like you start. Get some now at Walmart or go to mdrivenow.com. Type in the promo code Mike and you'll receive 25% off your M-Drive purchase. That's mdrivenow.com. Promo code Mike and receive 25% off your M-Drive purchase today. Refine your prime with M-Drive.
Freedom. One nation in all of human history was built on that bedrock. Ours. A republic of the people, by the people, and for the people. Self-government requires freedom, just as freedom requires an individual willingness to self-govern. Freedom has made America exceptional, but it can only last as long as you and I seek the good, as expressed by the laws of nature and nature's God. It can only last if you and I choose to act as people of character. Forging character has been the pursuit of Hillsdale College since 1844. Hillsdale College forges character and elevates civic discourse both on campus and nationwide. To find out how you can take their free online courses or receive a complimentary subscription to Imprimis, a monthly speech digest, visit hillsdalefreedom.com. That's hillsdalefreedom.com.
Are you a responsible person who finds yourself growing deeper in credit card debt? Then get ready for a toll-free number that will put you on a path to financial recovery. Trinity Debt Management will consolidate your accounts and work with your creditors. You'll save thousands and become debt-free for keeps. If your debt has you down, we should talk. Call Trinity at 1-800-990-6976. 1-800-990-6976. 1-800-990-6976.
Gallagher. Want to hear a little of the insanity? Just a little bit? Want to get a taste of the insanity from yesterday?
Stunning. Genuinely stunning.
What is going on? Unbelievable.
Astonishing. Just astonishing.
It is astonishing, it's heartbreaking, and it represents, I think, a pivotal turn in our nation's history.
It's time for Americans to be...
Hated him from day one. So they're so excited to have a chance to pretend that this is Pearl Harbor circa 2018. And I'm not exaggerating. That's literally what people said. I'm not kidding. I mean, here was some goofy guest on MSNBC.
It's just as serious to me as the Cuban Missile Crisis in terms of an attack or the 9/11 attack. The president is taking the side of the people who attacked us instead of trying to prevent a future attack. He has done nothing to make sure that the elections 4 months away are going to be safe. And I would say that his performance today will live in infamy as much as the Pearl Harbor attack or Kristallnacht.
I almost think her 9/11 comparison is even more dreadfully offensive. There are people listening to my show who lost loved ones on 9/11. And I don't think I would assume they would take great umbrage at the president's clumsy answer yesterday about Russia and meddling and equating that to a terror attack on American soil, the deadliest we've seen. That's beyond offensive. That's grotesque. And a lot of people just acted like fools yesterday. So maybe we can get a reasonable reaction from you. We'll see. 800-655-MIKE. Let's get started. Evan, you're first up. Hey, Evan, welcome aboard. You're on the Mike Gallagher Show.
Hey, Mike. Thanks for taking my call.
You bet, Evan. How are you?
Good. Thank you. Hey, so Trump might not have won the day, but I also think that Putin didn't win the day either, because I think in his mind he wanted Trump to come back to America with a hero's welcome. He wanted Trump to come back with the trumpets and the bugles blazing in order to disarm him. And I think now, to save face politically, Trump's going to have to get medieval, and Putin's not going to much like that.
Well, how many times have we seen the president come out of falling into a vat of you-know-what and coming out smelling like a rose and getting tough and getting tougher and understanding what has to be done? Newt Gingrich was right. This has to be fixed. And I think it will be fixed by, I don't know if the word medieval applies, but certainly he's got to be tough. And he's got to acknowledge, it seems to me, that Russia is not our friend. Doesn't mean we have to go to war with Russia. And here was what the president said that was lost in all the noise yesterday that means so much.
I would rather take a political risk in pursuit of peace than to risk peace in pursuit of politics.
Pretty profound. 800-655-MIKE. A lot of your voices, I promise, coming up. You know, it's never a good look, guys, when you untuck a long, bulky dress shirt. You may think it makes you look casual, but more than likely it just looks kind of sloppy. So Untuck It makes shirts specifically designed to be worn untucked, which is the way I love wearing shirts. This is a casual shirt that's not too long, not too short. It's perfect. The shirts are designed so well, GQ calls them perfection. Untuck It shirts. I love these shirts. Log on to untuckit.com, UNTUCKIT. Untuck it and stop hiding your shirt with your pants and your pants with your shirt. Use the promo code MikeG and you'll get 20% off your purchase. There's also 25 retail locations across the country for Untuck It. UNTUCKIT. Untuckit.com. Check out all the new arrivals. I mean, it's a good looking shirt. I'm wearing these every day. Untuckit.com. Promo code MikeG for 20% savings. Untuckit.com. Your solution.
In a galaxy far, far away.
Actually, in Marion.
There was a threat to all mankind.
Well, maybe not all mankind.
A computer was about to explode.
Okay, so maybe not explode, but there was a computer on the fritz. Same difference.
Fortunately, the Sci-Fi guy was close by. He heard his number being dialed. In the blink of an eye, the Sci-Fi guy was there fixing the computer.
Okay.
For Southern Illinois Wireless Internet isn't a superhero in real life, but they might as well be. So the next time your computer's on the fritz, call the nerds first. Call the people who are reliable, fast, dependable, trustworthy, smart, and locally owned at the first sign of trouble. For Southern Illinois Wireless Internet, don't cry. Call the Sci-Fi guy at 997-7494. That's 997-SCI-Y. 997-SIWI.
Okay.
WGGH, Marion. Monster Radio, local sports.
Cardinals catcher Yadier Molina says he'd welcome the chance to be the club's player manager in the final year of his contract in 2020. He tells ESPN it would be a dream to be considered for such a role. Molina has spent his entire 15-year playing career with the Cardinals. Hometown hero Bryce Harper is a 2018 Home Run Derby champion. The Nationals outfielder beat Cubs outfielder Kyle Schwarber 19-18 in the final to claim the title. Harper beat the Dodgers' Max Muncy 13-12 in the semifinals, while Schwarber edged the Phillies' Rhys Hoskins 21-20 in the other semi. Muncy bested the Cubs' Javier Baez 17-16 in the first round. The National and American Leagues square off tonight in the Major League Baseball All-Star Game in D.C. Cubs second baseman Javier Baez is starting and hitting leadoff, while catcher Wilson Contreras bats ninth. Chicago is also represented by pitcher John Lester, but he won't play. The only White Sox player in attendance is Jose Abreu. Abreu starts at first base and is batting eighth for the American League. Cardinals catcher Yadier Molina is a reserve for the senior circuit. Meanwhile, pitcher Miles Michaelis is inactive and went home to Jupiter, Florida after his wife went into labor. The Cardinals will open the second half of the season Thursday with the start of a 5-game series against the Cubs at Wrigley Field. It includes a day-night doubleheader Saturday. The Cards are third in the National League Central at 48-46. Bears rookies are now at training camp. They reported yesterday. Veterans are due to join them by Thursday. Chicago's first preseason game is August 2nd in the Hall of Fame game from Canton, Ohio against the Baltimore Ravens. With this sports update, I'm Tim Petrowitz.
Save money by searching for tires and auto service coupons at RavenTire.com. Find top tires like Kenda at the guaranteed lowest install price. Kenda produces quality tires for passenger, light truck, sport utility, and aggressive off-road vehicles. Not only will Raven Tire give you a great price on your Kenda tires, but you'll also receive expert installation, a free alignment check, and free lifetime tire rotations to get the best performance from your tires mile after mile. Stop by your nearest Raven Tire and Auto Service Center or visit us now at RavenTire.com.
Picture this. You're sitting at your computer reading the day's news. You click on the next interesting headline only to get...
You have reached this month's limit of free stories. Please enter your credit card number to continue.
Well, not with Dateline Marion. Dateline Marion is a community news website that covers Marion and Williamson County, and there is no limit to the number of stories you can read. That's no limit this week, this month, or this year. Check us out at DatelineMarion.com for local news when you want it, as often as you want it. Oh, and by the way, it's free.
Dexter's Yard Care can take all the pain and strain out of maintaining your residential or business lawn. Think about it. After buying and maintaining the equipment, then all the time and sweating, and of course the gas, it may be more affordable and a lot easier to hire Dexter's Yard Care, and they're 100% fully insured. So if he cuts his foot off in your lawn, you're not responsible for it. Dexter's Yard Care, where they really do care. Call for your free estimate today, 618-926-6645, or Facebook.com/Dexter's Yard Care.
Southern Illinois weather.
Lows dip down to about 68 tonight under partly cloudy skies. Winds out of the northeast, 5 to 10 miles an hour. Highs level off around 86 tomorrow. Mainly sunny skies and calm. Partly cloudy skies tomorrow night. Lows dip down to about 66. From the Weather Eye Weather Center, powered by weatherology.com, I'm meteorologist Derek Height on Monster Radio AM 1150. Currently, it's 88 degrees.
Rick and Bubba mornings, 5 to 9. On Monster Radio. Monster Radio. AM 1150.
The only way the Democrats can get back their mojo,
the life force, the essence, the right stuff,
is to win in November. That's all they've got.
I've lost my mojo.
From the ReliefFactor.com studios, here's Mike Gallagher.
26 minutes before the hour. As I promised, I want to get a lot of voices on here, lots of people chatting. Thanks for joining us at MikeOnline.com. Thanks for calling. Thanks for texting. Great text here from Billy, who says, Mike, thanks for the info and the honesty you shoot out to us every day. I believe there's something in the well water the left drinks from. President Trump is an amazingly strong, courageous man. If the leftist screamers and the never-Trumpers haven't figured him out yet, they won't. President Trump does a superb job of communicating with foreign leaders. Perhaps he should have gone on an apology tour like our last president. If those in the media know so much, maybe they should run for office, and instead of looking pretty and sounding stupid on the air, they acted stupidly over yesterday's press conference. Double standard at its best, alive and well in America. Let's get a bunch of voices in here. 800-655-Mike. Here is Mike. Hey, Mike, welcome aboard. How are you?
I'm doing great, Mike. Thanks for taking the call.
You bet. You bet.
Just had a couple of observations. First off, where was all this adulation for our intelligence community when they were advising on our enemies having weapons of mass destruction? That would be the first question. And then, by the way, am I the only one that remembers when President Obama sat next to Putin and smiled and said, hey, I'll have much more flexibility after the election? Don't get in
the way of a good meltdown with a couple of facts like that, please, Mike. I mean, please don't distract. There are people on a roll now. I mean, they're screaming treason. He committed treason yesterday. Now I don't know what they think of Obama saying more flexibility after the election. What that means, I guess that's just small talk, pillow talk. You know, I mean, honestly, Mike, don't you agree with my premise? That first of all, while the president probably fell short with his answers in the press conference, the overreaction from the people who hate him will drive more and more people into the arms of the Republican Party and turn more people into Trump supporters?
Not only do I agree with it, I was actually going to mention it. I am not a never-Trumper and never have been, but he's not my favorite guy in the world. Mm-hmm. But you can't help but to come to his defense when these kinds of things go on. And it really has been so full of hyperbole and nonsense that you're really not left with any choice to understand that you have to step in and defend your president.
I mean, what we do know, Mike, is so fruitful. I mean, to know that John Brennan admitted voting for a communist before he worked for the CIA, and then he's got the audacity to call the president's comments at the press conference exceeding the threshold of high crimes and misdemeanors? Are you serious? You're the guy that's going to say that?
It strikes me as you said, kooky.
Well, and speaking of kooky, I mean, there are activists who are now out. Listen to this. They're outside the White House. They started gathering last night at 8:30 with bullhorns. That goofy Philippe Reines, that the guy used to work with Hillary, pops up on Fox and has said dreadful things online, just incredibly dreadful things. He's organized a protest. He said, I figure when you fly back from Helsinki, you're going to be tired when you get to the White House, so let's all stand outside the White House across the street in Lafayette Park with bullhorns and noisemakers and keep him awake so he can't get any sleep. Oh, well, that's adult. That's an adult reaction. I mean, these people have acted like a bunch of children throwing the biggest tantrum imaginable. And they lie. You want to talk about a lie? Check this out. The president constantly goes after CNN, calling them fake news. And, you know, he wouldn't even call on Jim Acosta the other day. And people thought that was just terrible. Oh, how can you say that about CNN? Michael Anton was scheduled to appear with CNN host Erin Burnett last night. And then she announced on air that he canceled. And here's what she said was the reason Michael Anton would not appear on CNN.
Out front now, Julie Yaffe, contributing writer for The Atlantic, journalist, correspondent for GQ magazine, expert on all things Russia, John Avlon, CNN senior political analyst. And I want to note, there's not another person on the screen. Michael Anton was going to be here. He's the former National Security Council spokesperson under President Trump. He canceled, and he knows I'm going to tell you this, because he said he could not defend the president on his actions today. So
they ran with that. It was in the New York Post online. It was at Mediaite. Oh, Michael Anton, former National Security Council spokesman, won't even be reasonable to be offended at the way CNN is covering you? Come on. You know, they bash him morning, noon, and night. I get it. But you're going to lie about the guests that won't appear because they don't want to be subjected to what you're going to put them through? Anderson Cooper was the first one first comments. What do you say? The most disgraceful performance I've ever seen by a president with a world leader at a summit in my life. Okay. Okay. Mark, you're on the Mike Gallagher Show. Hey, Mark.
Thank you very much. Another hysterical tempest in a teapot. And I really believe, sincerely, the Democrats and the fake news media, one and the same, they can feel the midterm slipping away, and they are desperate. President Trump should be applauded for cooperating on nuclear disarmament and counterterrorism. And by the way, Mike, is it election meddling when the corrupt CNN gave presidential debate questions in advance to Madam Hillary?
Yeah, ask Donna Brazile. You know, Mark, the most powerful thing I think I heard last night was on Tucker Carlson's show. And this is a contributing editor for the progressive magazine, The Nation. The Nation. This is a progressive leftist magazine. And the contributing editor there, Stephen Cohen, said something that was so powerful. In the middle of all of this hysteria, all of this hand-wringing, Stephen Cohen is a Russian studies professor emeritus at NYU. He knows a thing or two about Russia. And again, a contributing editor to this progressive magazine, The Nation. Let his words marinate. Listen to what he said that was so powerful.
The reaction by most of the media, by the Democrats, by the anti-Trump people, is like mob violence. I've never seen anything like it in my life. This is the President of the United States doing what every president, Tucker, since Franklin Delano Roosevelt did in 1943 with Stalin, meeting with the head of the Kremlin And every president since Eisenhower, a Republican by the way, has met with the leader of the Kremlin for one existential purpose: to avoid war between the two nuclear superpowers. Today, in my considered, scholarly, long-time judgment, relations between the United States and Russia are more dangerous than they have ever, let me repeat, ever been, including the Cuban Missile Crisis. I want my president to do, I didn't vote for this president, but I want my president to do what every other president has done. Sit with the head of the other nuclear superpower and walk back the conflicts that could lead to war, whether they be in Syria, Ukraine, in the Baltic nations, in these accusations of cyber attacks. Every president has been encouraged to do that and applauded by both parties, not Trump. Look what they did to him today. They held a kangaroo court. They found him guilty. And then you have the former head of the United States CIA, who himself ought to be put under oath and asked about his role in inventing Russiagate, calling the President of the United States treasonous. What have we come to in this country?
What have we come to in this country? Now, before you push back at his phrase, mob violence, consider the cover of today's New York Daily News. They have a cartoon of President Trump holding hands with a shirtless Vladimir Putin with his right hand. And in his left hand, he has a huge handgun. And he is shooting Uncle Sam in the head with blood spurting out of Uncle Sam's head under the caption, "Open Treason." You think mob violence is understated? No, I think Stephen Cohen has it right. 16 minutes before the hour. You're right, it's a difficult, tough time in America, and it's tough to watch the people who hate this president with such a passion spring into action. These are opportunistic hacks. Many, by the way, on radio, TV, print, that decide, oh, I can't support that. He's a traitor! Never again can I support that. Instead of a reasonable response, which sounds like that guy just sounded. Or, yeah, Michael Goodwin said, fell short. The president shouldn't have been deferential. Sometimes you eat the bear, sometimes the bear eats you. But stop with the treason and the unhinged. Well, Rand Paul put it best too. He said it last night. These people suffer from Trump derangement syndrome. We'll continue with your voice and more coming up on the Mike Gallagher Show.
I love you so, I always will. And in your voice I hear a choir of
Now's the time to soak up that summer sun and spend time with friends and family. Instead of spending that valuable time on home projects, let Home Advisor take them off your plate. Whether you've been thinking about a big project like installing a new sprinkler system or a small project like just mowing the lawn, go to HomeAdvisor.com. Tell them what you need. In just seconds, you're going to be